In this video, I will give you all the textual answers for the lesson classification of plants with a little bit of explanation in between. The first question, match the proper terms from column A and C with the description in column B. So this is the match the columns. Angiosperms are seeds formed in fruits. Example, tamarind. No natural covering on seeds are gymnosperms. One example is cycas. Plants which grow mainly in water, thallophytes, and one example is algae. Plants that need water for reproduction are bryophytes, example being moss. Tissues present for conduction of water and food are pteridophytes, and one example is fern. Complete the sentences by filling the blanks and explain those statements. These are the words given. Dash plants have soft and fiber-like body. The answer is thallophyta. Thallophytes have a soft fiber-like body because they don't have root, stem and leaves. Dash is called the amphibian of the plant kingdom. Answer is bryophyte. Bryophytes are called amphibians because they grow in moist soil, but they need water for reproduction. In pteridophytes, asexual reproduction occurs by dash formation and sexual reproduction occurs by dash formation. So there are two types of reproduction. Asexual one is by spore formation and sexual one is by zygote formation. Male and female flowers of dash are borne on different sporophylls of the same plant, gymnosperms. In your own words, write the characteristic of subkingdom phanerogams. Phanerogams are plants that have special structures for reproduction and generate seeds. Based on whether the seeds are in a fruit or not, they are further classified into gymnosperms and angiosperms. So now we will see division 1, that is gymnosperms, which are mostly evergreen, perennial, meaning present all seasons of the year. They are woody. They bear male and female flowers on different sporophylls of the same plant. Seeds from these plants do not have natural coverings. They do not produce fruits, and so the name gymnosperms. Gymnos meaning naked, sperm meaning seeds. Example of gymnosperms are cycas, Pisia or the Christmas tree, Thuja or locally called moorpunky, Pinus called deodar. Okay, and a sporophyll is a leaf that produces the spores. The other division is the angiosperms. Flowers are their reproductive organs and those flowers develop into fruits. Fruits have seeds within them, so these seeds are covered by the fruit and hence they are called angiosperms. Angios meaning cover, sperm meaning seeds. Distinguish between monocots and dicots, also called monocotyledonous plants or dicotyledonous plants. So, the seed of dicotyledonous plants have two cotyledons, whereas a monocot has a single cotyledon. The root is a primary or tap root which is well developed. Monocots have fibrous roots. The stem is strong and hard, like example banyan tree in dicotyledonous plants, whereas the stem is hollow, for example bamboo. It can be false like banana or disc-like onion. The leaf has reticulate venation, that means the leaf has the vein in between and the veins on opposite sides of the main vein. And monocotyledonous plants have parallel, that means the veins are all parallel to one another. The flower in dicots have 4 or 5 parts or multiples of 4 or 5 parts called tetrameris or pentameris, and in monocots flowers have 3 or multiples of 3 parts which is called trimeris. Write a paragraph in your own words about the ornamental plants called ferns. Belonging to the Pteridophyta group, ferns have well-developed roots, stem and leaves and separate well-developed tissues for conduction of food and water. So this is a little higher level compared to thallophytes and bryophytes, more developed plants. They do not produce flowers and fruits. They reproduce with the help of spores that are formed along the back of their leaves. If you can see in the picture there, they are green in color, and the spores, when they ripen, they become this reddish brown, and then they burst and the spores go all over, they germinate and a new plant is come. These plants reproduce asexually by spore formation and sexually by zygote formation. Their conducting system, that is a system used for conducting food and water, is well developed. Examples are Nephrolepis, Marsilia, Pteris, Adiantum, Equisetum, Selaginella and Lycopodium. Sketch, label and describe Spirogyra. If you look at the figure, you will find that because it is a plant cell, it has a cell wall. In the center you have the nucleus, then you have spiral chloroplast, green in color, stripes and small round structures called pyrenoids. Spirogyra is a thallophyte and grows mainly in water. It does not have specific parts such as root, stem, leaf, flowers, but is autotrophic due to the presence of chlorophyll. It is known as algae. Though it doesn't have root, stem, leaves and flowers, leaves make the food of the plant, but it is autotrophic, meaning it can make its own food because of the presence of a green substance called chlorophyll. Microscopic or large, it can also be unicellular or multicellular. Some of these are found in fresh water and some are found in salt water, saline water, ocean water. Okay, so these Spirogyra can be small ones or very large ones too. These plants usually have a soft fiber-like body. Write the characteristics of plants belonging to the division Bryophyta. If I will put it in the description box, there is a video on explanation of classification of plants wherein similarly I have detailed all the points that need to go with each division. You can watch that video. So, bryophytes are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom because they grow in soil but they need water for reproduction. Hence, you see it generally during the rainy season. These plants are thalloid, multicellular, and autotrophic. They reproduce by spore formation, again, just like fern. Their plant body is flat, ribbon-like, long, without root, stem and leaves. Instead, they have things that look like a stem or leaf or root kind of thing, structures called rhizoids. They do not have specific tissues for conduction of food and water. Examples are moss, anthoceros and riccia. Sketch and label the figures of the following plants and explain them in brief. Marchantia and Funera both belonging to Bryophyta. So the explanation is the same but the diagrams are different. These plants are called amphibians of the plant kingdom because they grow in soil but need water for reproduction. They do not have specific tissues for conduction of food and water. You see, so many of the answers are overlapping. So if you know the characteristics of Bryophyta, Tylophyta and Pteridophyta well, then you can answer any of these questions. The plant body is flat, ribbon-like, long, without true root, stem and leaves. And this is the figure of Marchantia. Instead, they have stem-like or leaf-like parts and root-like rhizoids. You can see in the diagram of Funaria, small structures, hair-like structures, which hold the place where they are growing, and those structures are called rhizoids. The diagram and explanation of fern belonging to Pteridophyta. Ferns have well-developed root, stem, and leaves for the conduction of food and water. They do not bear flowers and fruits. They reproduce with the help of spores present on the posterior or the behind of the leaves. And this is the diagram of fern. Which criteria are used for classification of plants? Explain with reasons. One main criteria for classification of plants is the presence or absence of organs. Do they have stem, root, leaf? Already know about Thallophyta and Bryophyta, which do not have. And then you know about bigger trees like the mango tree, banyan tree, who have the root, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits, branches, all the organs. Presence or absence of separate conducting tissues for conduction of water and food is another criterion. So you've already learnt in the lesson there are some who have tissues and some who don't have conducting tissues. Another criteria is whether the plants produce seeds or not. In case they do, then if the seeds are enclosed or inside the fruit or not. Another way in which plants are classified is the number of the cotyledons in seeds, parts of the seed, whether there's one cotyledon or two cotyledons. Depending upon the absence or presence of flowers, fruits, and seeds, plants are classified as cryptogams or phanerogams. Based on whether seeds are enclosed within a fruit or not, phanerogams are then classified as gymnosperms and angiosperms, and angiosperms are classified as monocots or dicots depending upon the number of cotyledons in the seeds.